DM friends, welcome to the fourth week of month number 1 in the Decentrology Web3 design course. Today I'll be presenting my thoughts on the design process within a Web3 context. Now I must first dispel a myth. For you see, during the first session I defined the digital product design process as having 3 phases: exploration followed by experimentation followed by execution, right? Well, the myth is that not all companies follow these 3 phases all the time or as consistently as they like to advertise, or they don't necessarily follow everything that has to take place within these 3 phases all the time. You see, not all product designers follow these phases to the letter and as an individual contributor. Oftentimes, it's not necessarily the designer itself that is even able to apply all the necessary steps within each of those 3 phases, right? A digital product designer, in theory, is like a scientist, but it's more often than not the design team as a whole behaves like a scientist, or maybe a small handful of them. This is mostly due to the fact that a designer works in a setting that is constrained under tighter deadlines than a scientist who usually has months, if not years, to conduct an entire project from beginning to end. Therefore, the design process largely depends on the environment one is in, as well as the scope of work. Typically, for example, if it's a small-scale project, a quick experimentation can be designed and tested, whereas if it's a large-scale project, then the exploration step cannot and should not be ignored/skipped. This environment actually has a well-defined model within the Web2 world, and it's called the Design/UX Maturity Model, wherein, depending on what level you're at, your mileage may vary. To learn more about this model, I've attached 3 links in this video, in the description of this video. So this is something that I'd actually like to work on for us during a workshop, where we come up with a Web3 design maturity model. Because from that, we'll be able to come up with how Web3 product design can or should be different. For now, I'll say that the Web3 design maturity model should ultimately coincide with the concept of decentralization. So what do I mean by that? Well, let me just put it this way. Web2 product designers work in a highly centralized top-down organization, right? Web3 product designers work in what is ideally a decentralized bottom-up organization known as a DAO, right? Therefore, you can infer that there are, or at least should be, unique differences between the 2 worlds. Apart from that, I believe there's one fundamental thing that differs between the Web3 design process and the Web2 design process, given that Web3 is all about community. A couple very pragmatic things we can do already to drive home is, or to apply, is from a non-fungible perspective, provide community members with an NFT badge or role as a product tester/interviewee, and from a fungible perspective, reward them with your token for participating in user research/testing sessions. Lastly, from a hybrid perspective, reward them with NFT access to events or whatever for testing the product and or interviewing for your design research needs. This drives home the concept of community, and thus makes it less about an us versus them, but simply put a we're all in this together kind of user experience. Thank you.